On today's MTG Financial Update, we'll be taking a look at some reserve list cards that you can still get your hands on for quite the bargain. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. On today's video, we'll be going over some reserve list cards that can be found for a bargain right now. These cards are either kind of going down and trending downward, but they're still being bought up by people who recognize the value of some of these cards. I thought I would bring these 10 cards to you today, and you guys can let me know what you think at the end in the comments section. So let's go ahead and take a look at card number 1. The first card I'm sharing with you today is Soldevi Excavations from Alliances. This card can be found for $45 Canadian near mint. The average is $35 US, the market has it at $34.82 US, and €20.40 will get you that card. Now, when you're looking at the financial health of this card, most of its action has come in the last 90 days. Although it does still see steady sales across the board, selling 1 or 2 copies a day, a lot of this is from people on my own channel who are buying it out for the channel. This is our meme card that we love to buy and play with, and I do intend on putting this in my newest commander deck and seeing how it plays. There are a few commander decks that do use this card right now, but it doesn't have much of a home right now in Legacy or Vintage. But as a reserve list card, we know the longer we hold on to cards like this, the more it's going to go up regardless of the card it is. It's just the nature of this game. So as a financial investor in this market, I will continue to hold on to my copies well into the future. Now let's go on to card number 2. City of Shadows from the Dark is card number 2 today. It comes in at $160 Canadian for a light played to near mint copy. The average is $99.99 US. The market has it at $109.09 US, and it's €87.42 to get you that card. Now, please remember, you can find this card for a little bit less money if you're willing to get a heavily played copy just to play with. Now, the sales in this card again have remained steady with 1 or 2 sales every couple of days. And when you look at the formats it's permitted in, which is Vintage, Legacy, Commander, and of course the unofficials like Old School, this card does have a home again in some Commander decks for its ability to build up the token mana ability of this card. But I can see from what people have told me and what I'm looking at in the markets, this is a much harder card to move across the market even with its low print run. Finding near mint quality copies has been a difficult task for a lot of people trying to get collector sets, and that will continue going forward as the stock on a card like this is very low in any decent condition. So as an investor in this area, I say look for the best quality copy you can afford if you're looking to get this card. It is definitely worth the extra few dollars you will spend going forward as an investment down the road. Let's take a look here at card number 3. Now, card number 3 is Ancestral Knowledge today from Weatherlight. This is one of those underappreciating cards right now at $15 Canadian for a near mint copy. The average is $8.83 US. The market has it at $6.29 US, and it's €8.68 will get you that card. And although this particular card does have a steady group of sales, it's not a really high margin amount. There's not a massive amount to say it's strong or massive. It is just steady. But not only that, it has homes in multiple commander decks that I've checked out, but it doesn't seem to be getting much recognition, probably because the print quality of this is a lot higher. There's a lot more volume of these cards available, and it's never really gone through a serious buyout yet. If this was a card you were looking to get your hands on in this price range, a $15 investment is pretty reasonable. When you're thinking about just 3 booster packs at $5 each or buying a reserve list card, it's really hard to argue not to buy that reserve list card at that level. And remember, the longer you hold these cards, the better. And this card does have a fairly good effect regardless of its cumulative upkeep. If you can keep it around for a turn or 2, it's really not a bad card to have in a deck. Let's go on to card number 4. Now, card number 4 is Memory Jar. I expected this card to actually be selling a lot faster and higher volume than what I came across when I checked all the sales listings. This card comes in at $75 Canadian. The average is $65. The market is $65.30 US. The foil, of course, in any of these old Urza type block cards is going to be around the $1,000 mark. And €43.06 will get you that card. Memory Jar is one of those cards that is a little more limited in the fact that it is, only going to be in Commander and is restricted in Vintage, and you can't use it in Legacy. But it is a reserve list card with a lot of fun times that people have great memories of. This is a card that does have steady sales, but not high volume. And because of its limited playability for a lot of people, they are avoiding a card like this. This is a card I think that will continue to fall, and I do not think anybody should be buying at this time. I think this is a card we can wait to see how it settles out in the next 120 days. So if you're looking for Memory Jar, just keep an eye out. Wait to see if it falls to a lower level, making it more affordable for you as the investor collector to grab a hold of it. Let's take a look at card number 5. Mox Diamond is an amazing card from Stronghold that has really come down in price in the last little while. I myself paid $900 Canadian for a near mint copy, but $625 Canadian right now will get you a light played copy that looks really nice. The average is $649.99, the market is $610.37 US, and it's €384.38 will get you that card. Now, Mox Diamond is allowed in Vintage, Legacy, and Commander. It's a staple in many Commander decks, and it is a reserve list card. This card does have a lot going for it when you look at the financial stability of a reserve list card. Although its sales are strong, it's being bought on the decline. People are picking it up in quantity because it's declining in price as people try to cash in some profits from having cards like this. But that will just benefit somebody later down the road who has the cash right now to invest in a card like that. Remember, the longer you hold your cards, the better investment and better decision you're making in the game. You get to enjoy the asset and play with it, but at the same time, it's appreciating in value because there are less on the market when we're dealing with reserve list cards. This card, I think some people are going to be making a mistake when they're selling it this cheap, but who am I to say? Guys, Mox Diamond is an amazing card. I look forward to seeing how this card's growth continues well past the 1,000 mark within the next 24 months. Card number 6 today is Intuition from Tempest. You can find a light played to near mint quality copy for $185 Canadian. The average is $179.99 US, the market is $183.96 US, and €124.05 will get you that card. But Intuition does have a lot going for it from a financial standpoint. This card has homes in Legacy, Vintage, and Commander, as well as being a reserve list card, so we know the rough production numbers of this card. I can easily see Intuition going to $500 in the near future. This card is a card to watch, and with its cost right now at this low point, it's a great time to steal it if you have the money. Bone Dancer from Weatherlight is card number 7 today. It comes in at $10 Canadian for a near mint copy. The average is $8.20 US, the market is $6.63 US, and €5.87 will get you that card. And although this card is playable in Legacy, Vintage, and Commander, it seldom does get used. This card has fallen because of its lack of use inside of decks. And although it can have a lot of fun times built into it, it does not seem to be the card that a lot of people go to when building their deck up. This card, though, still has steady sales as people tend to gather a copy or two whenever they find it cheap, and being a reserve list card means eventually this card will slowly gain in value. I believe this card can sit on the block for a little while. This is not a card you have to have, although it is a zombie and its casting cost is quite cheap if you want to build a fun kitchen table deck. This is an easy card to add that doesn't break the bank. So good luck to you, Bone Dancer. We'll see what happens in the future. Let's go along to card number 8. Palinchron from Urza's Legacy is one of those cards that a lot of players forgot about. It can be found for $75 Canadian for a near mint copy. The average is $70 US. The market is $61.75 US, $722 US for the foil, and €51.80 will get you that card. This is one of those cards, although it's reserve list, it does have a home in a few Commander decks, and of course it can be played in Legacy and Vintage, and the sales are strong. This card is still going down in price, and people are buying it as it drops. Yes, it's a 7 casting cost creature, but remember, you untap 7 lands when it comes into play, and you can also return it to your hand. This card is a lot of fun when used in the correct deck, and it's an illusion, which makes it a lot of fun depending on how you do your build. Guys, this is a card I do expect to climb in the distant future. It is one of those cards that just Wizards isn't replicating this kind of mechanic right now, which makes it a little more unique among the reserve list cards out there. So way to go, Palinchron. People are picking you up even though you're on the dip. Let's see what happens in the near future with this card. I'm sure it'll be back on our list very soon. Let's go ahead and take a look at card number 9. Now, card number 9 is Yavimaya Hollow from Urza's Destiny. This card actually has strong sales. You're looking at a card that's going for $160 Canadian near mint. The average is $103.35 US. The market is $92.84 US. The foil is over $1,000 US, and €77.74 will get you that card. Now, the formats that's permitted in being Vintage, Commander, and Legacy, it does have homes in quite a few Commander decks because of that ability to regenerate creatures. And being a reserve list card shows us that it is not coming around anytime soon. Not that Wizards would want to reprint a powerhouse card like this when put into a proper green build. The sales will continue to stay strong on this card, and I will not be surprised one day to see this card at $500. It deserves to be there now. It's just not there yet, and that's great for people in the financial side of Magic who would like to pick up more copies of this card for their own future collections. Guys, way to go. Let's go ahead and take a look at our last card today, which is going to be the Great Whale from Urza's Saga. This is not a card, again, that I think of being an amazing card. $28 Canadian will get you a near mint copy of this card. The average is $27.35. The market is $27.35 US, and €18.90 will get you that card. It is on the slip. This card is going down in value, and you can wait to grab it. But what I find interesting is it still lets you untap the 7 lands. So depending on the build you're using, a 5/5 that's free to cast technically, in the right circumstance, can be a lot of fun in any deck you're building. Now, the sales are steady in this card, which means it is selling at this price and it's holding well, but the financial side tells me this card will probably slip a little bit further and we'll wait till the next buyout before we see this card really uptick again. So if you're a person trying to build your position in a card like this, this is probably the time to grab it in the next 60 days. But at the same time, if you're a player who has this card and wants to make money, I really recommend holding on to this card for a much longer period of time. Way to go, Great Whale. You will definitely be around for a while, and I'd like to see how you turn out as well, just like Palinchron. So, with all that said, guys, compared to the buyout video of last week, which obviously had targeted cards that players were selectively buying, the sales we're seeing on these cards are across the board steady, and they'll probably continue well into the future doing what they're doing right now, which is every week a few sell, every week a few get bought. Players will take time to build positions in these cards, and they will look for deals. As some of these cards fall and become more attractive financial assets for other players in Magic the Gathering, you will see cards like these get picked up. Everyone, I look forward to talking to you again later this week. Have a wonderful day today. This is MTG Mox, man. Stay chilly out there because it's cold in Canada, man. It's cold right now. I'm not happy. Cold. Snowblower, filling gasoline. What are we talking about here? Big shout out to all my wonderful patrons. How's everyone doing out there? Hope you're rocking. There will be some patron changes. I didn't get to them because Patreon was not finished processing payments. I apologize, everyone. It's Patreon's fault. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Patrons rock. Sometimes it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and before you know it, it's happy. What can you do? I hope you guys had a great day today. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. And remember, wash your socks. Words of wisdom, wash your socks.